What if I told you the United States is sitting on a ticking time bomb worth $37 trillion? A financial trap so massive that it threatens the future of the economy, the strength of the US dollar, and even America's position in the world. This isn't science fiction. It's happening right now. And the clock is ticking faster than anyone predicted. Today, we're diving deep into America's $37 trillion debt crisis, how it happened, why it matters, and what it means for every American's future. 1. The shocking reality. America's national debt has officially passed $37 trillion, a milestone that arrived years earlier than expected. Before the pandemic, economists thought this level of borrowing wouldn't be reached until the mid-2030s. But in just a few years, unprecedented spending and stimulus packages pushed the debt into uncharted territory. Think about it this way. If you tried to count to 37 trillion, saying one number every second, it would take you over 1.1 million years. That's how massive this number really is. This isn't just a scary headline. It represents the single largest financial burden in the history of the United States, and every passing day it grows larger, shaping the future of the economy, the strength of the US dollar, and the financial security of generations yet to come. 2. How the debt works. So how exactly does America get into this much debt? The national debt is the total amount the federal government owes to its creditors. These creditors can be foreign nations like China and Japan, financial institutions, corporations, or even everyday Americans who buy government bonds. The debt grows because of deficits. A deficit happens when the government spends more than it collects in taxes during a single year. That deficit is added to the national debt. Year after year, these shortfalls pile up like an unpaid bill. A useful analogy is to think of the US as a household. If your household earns $50,000 a year but spends $70,000, you're running a $20,000 deficit. To make up for it, you borrow from credit cards or take out a loan. Next year, you do the same again. And before you know it, you're buried under debt, paying interest on top of the money you originally borrowed. That's exactly what's happening at the national level. Except instead of $20,000, the United States is borrowing billions, even trillions, year after year. 3. The cost of borrowing. Here's where things get dangerous. Interest payments. Right now, the US government spends hundreds of billions of dollars annually just to pay interest on its debt. To put that in perspective, interest payments are nearly as large as America's defense budget. They're bigger than what the US spends on infrastructure, science, or education. And the bigger the debt, the bigger the interest bill. It's like being trapped on a credit card where the balance keeps growing faster than you can pay it down. With rising interest rates in recent years, the situation has become even more expensive. Every new dollar borrowed costs more to service. And because so much of the federal budget is already locked into programs like Social Security, Medicare, and defense, there's little flexibility. Interest becomes the silent monster eating away at America's finances. This is the essence of the debt trap. Borrow money, pay interest. Borrow again to cover both spending and interest. Repeat. The deeper you go, the harder it becomes to escape. 4. Risks to the dollar and the economy. One of the greatest strengths of the United States is that the US dollar is the world's reserve currency. Countries trust the dollar because of America's political and economic stability. Oil, gold, and international trade are mostly priced in dollars. But what happens if the world starts to lose confidence in America's ability to manage its debt? If investors, foreign governments, and financial markets believe the US is addicted to borrowing, they may demand higher interest rates before lending more. Or worse, they may begin looking for alternatives to the dollar. This could weaken the dollar's dominance globally, making imports more expensive for American consumers and raising borrowing costs for the government. Meanwhile, inside the US, a ballooning debt limits economic growth. Heavy government borrowing can crowd out private investment. When the government borrows trillions, there's less capital available for businesses and entrepreneurs. Future generations may face higher taxes or reduced services just to pay interest. Every dollar spent on debt repayment is a dollar not invested in things that drive prosperity. Roads, schools, technology, and healthcare. Imagine if your family spent all its income just paying off interest on credit cards, with nothing left for food, education, or savings. That's the road America is heading down. 5. The scale of the challenge. The numbers are staggering. The U.S. owes more than the combined economies of China, Japan, Germany, and India. If every American citizen were handed the bill, each would owe over $110,000. The debt continues to grow by billions of dollars every single day. What makes this even scarier is how normal debt has become in Washington. Borrowing used to be reserved for wars, recessions, or emergencies. But today, debt is the default tool for almost everything. Instead of making tough decisions, cutting spending, or finding sustainable revenue sources, leaders take the easier path. Borrow more. History offers us a warning. Great powers like Spain in the 16th century and Britain in the 20th century saw their global dominance fade when crushing debts weakened their economies. Today, the U.S. still has immense strength, but debt is its Achilles heel. 6. The path forward. So, can America escape the $37 trillion trap? The truth is, it won't be easy. Economists suggest a mix of strategies: controlling government spending, reducing unnecessary programs and waste, reforming entitlement programs, adjusting Social Security and Medicare to make them sustainable for future generations, raising revenues responsibly, not just through higher taxes, but smarter, fairer tax policies, focusing on economic growth, because a bigger, stronger economy makes debt easier to manage. None of these solutions are politically easy. They require sacrifice, discipline, and leadership. But ignoring the problem only makes it worse. Every year of delay means higher interest payments, less flexibility, and greater risk for the next generation. The national debt is not just a number on a spreadsheet. It's about America's future. It's about whether the U.S. dollar remains strong, whether the economy can grow, and whether future generations inherit opportunity or burden. America's $37 trillion debt isn't just a statistic, it's a trap. The question is, will the United States have the courage to climb out of it, or will it let debt define its destiny? Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into money, economics, and the forces shaping our world. Your support helps us create more content to keep you informed and ahead of the curve.